Welcome, welcome everyone. This is LeeAnne Ruff. Welcome back to the ADK Woman Lunch and Learn slash podcast. We're super excited to have you here as our guest listening, and we're even more excited about who our guest speaker is today. And I'm not gonna waste time and chit chat because I want to dive right into talking to this amazing lady. We have with us today Jennifer Aguglia. She is just amazing in her own right as an individual, but she's also the partner and co-founder of 26 and Co. And they are, well, I'll let her explain what it is they do, but I will tell you what they have done for me is they have created all my branding. And, my reach is far outside the Adirondacks. I am all over the country speaking, and I have people reaching out on LinkedIn. I just recently shared this with Kara and Jen that I had someone reach out just to talk about my branding, how impressed she was with my branding. I'm like, I am impressed. They did such a good job. They captured me. When I moved back to this area from after living in LA for 5 years, and I specifically wanted to find women to work with. I have nothing against men, but I wanted to support women here in the area because women had supported me as an entrepreneur. And I am so glad I did because I found the best team ever. So enough of me talking. I got to get this amazing person, her voice out there. So welcome, Jen. So happy to have you here with us today. Share
Well,
with
thank
us.
you. Thank
Tell
you.
us just tell us a little bit about
Sure.
your company. I want you to explain 26 and Co.
Sure. Well, thank you for that amazing introduction. Feeling a little pumped now after that. And thanks for being you. It really, the client drives what that brand's going to be. So it was linking arms and you had the vision and it just was seamless. It flowed. So 26 and Co. We are a creative agency, creative marketing agency, and we are at 26 City Hall Place here in Plattsburgh. But we do serve, we're up and out of the local area. We're in the US and Canada, serving clients all around the US, which is super fun. It's like time traveling. You get to just like, what's going on in California today? And like get a little update from a local. It's been super fun. Yeah, so we've been 5 years, boots on the ground, getting this thing up and going. And it's been nothing short of amazing.
Well,
A lot of niche. Oh, go
how,
ahead.
how did the two of you come together?
Yes. Okay. My background has been traditionally in print design. I went to graphic design school here locally at SUNY Plattsburgh and spent a lot of time, as a student here. And then I worked for SUNY Plattsburgh for a number of years. And then I ended up leaving and I worked with Kara in agency life. So dipped my toe into agency life. Really, really loved my time at that company, Kara's previous iteration of 26 and Co. Really was able to take a breath and find where my passion was in my career again. Burnt out on print design. I was like, love graphic design, love it, but I was ready for something new. Dove headfirst into web design in that time frame. And then when that previous company closed, Kara and I decided, hey, let's do this together. Let's do this with our vision. We stripped away wasn't serving us and pivoted and began this journey with 26 and Co. It was a sharp pivot, and we did it scared and we did it not knowing what it would be, but just being open to what it could be. And honestly, best decision ever to get into business for myself and partner with Kara and do this thing.
And this is Kara Miron, right?
Yep, Kara Miron. Yep, we're both locals. We're both, we both grew up in this area. Kara went to Plattsburgh High School. I went to Beekmantown. And it's really interesting, this partnership, because we have such opposite skill sets that coming together and like plugging in together, we remained the two of us for a very long time, covering a lot of ground and just being as efficient as humanly possible with our company and our time and what we were building. So really came together, covered a lot of ground for a lot of years. Obviously, you hit a wall there. So we've now hired an employee. So we're growing and it's been amazing.
Well, let's take a stop for a second here because you describe it as you had a pivot and you launched your own company together. But what was that's not easy. Don't let's not brush over that.
Yeah.
That was a bold move. And so but when you look at that, what was the boldest and bravest thing out of that experience that you think you had to do to take your business off the ground and launch it?
Yeah. So Kara and I are both, you wouldn't know it once you get to know me, but we're both on the shyer side of things. So we immediately were like, well, that's not going to work. And decided to just start asking different people, out to dinner, out, come share a meal with us, get to know us. We did that once a month, I think, for at least the first year we were in business. Just we wanted to get to know other people. We wanted to expand our network. We wanted to let them know what we were all about. And that wasn't easy when you're not like typically comfortable asking somebody, "Hey, sit down. I don't know you." But it was this catalyst, this move that helped us open up, helped us develop like how do we talk about, what we're doing here. And the results were amazing. We were able to get a lot of clarity out of what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. One of the things that came out of that was like linking arms, partnering. The word partner was very important for us, both in our business. That's what we refer to each other as. We are partners in this. So partnering with other like-minded individuals um, has been really the biggest win. The biggest win that we could have asked for is just developing this. I always kind of in my career, I was like, well, I think going into this, little Jen, 2010, getting my first big girl job, if I'm kind and I work hard, like great things are going to happen. And working for other people, you kind of have to, adapt to their philosophy, the way they're running their business, and having an opportunity for us to have our own business and for me to bring that into what we're doing. And to have that kind of be the philosophy that's been the common thread through everything. It's been amazing.
Well, I do want to talk more about the collaboration piece, but before I do that, I want to understand and be a little more specific because when you said we invited people to dinner, what actually, I mean, were you looking for strategic business people in the area and how did you do that? Like for someone who's listening right now who's thinking, well, I want to do that, but how? Do I just send an email? Do I show up face to face? I don't
Yeah,
even know this person. Like how
yeah, awkward.
yeah.
Yeah,
What was the mechanics behind that? I want to hear that. Tell me what to do, Jen.
yeah, yeah, totally. So I've been kind of this quiet, sleepy,
Behind the scenes.
professional in
Yeah.
behind the scenes. I'm always the girl on the computer. I'm the one that's like, hey, can we get this out to print? I'm
Yeah.
like making the things happen. So a lot of my career before 26 and Co was fly on the wall. But there were a lot of people locally who I had watched over the years build their career. I admired them. So we kind of started there, Kara and I in our discussions talking about who do we admire? Who do we want to talk to? Who are the clients that we want to who do we want to be building alongside of? And so that kind of fueled our decision and I think too, when you bring that to somebody, you say to them, hey, I admire what you're doing. I would love to just, talk over, what you're doing in your life, what you're doing in business. Um, and just leaving it really open-ended like that. The conversations just kind of flow. And it feels terrifying, but if you're scared, you're doing it right. And
And
I
people
said,
said yes. People said yes. I will meet you for dinner. Right?
oh,
I mean, that's
I don't know that we ever got a no. So
that's awesome.
yeah, that's
Awesome.
it, it's so daunting until you do it and it just starts happening. And then that reassurance comes later. Um, But I think it's important to know, like, yeah, terrifying. It
Yeah.
is terrifying to
Yeah.
get out of your comfort zone and, talk to people and expand yourself and what you're able and or what to do. It really, that's where I've seen a lot of personal growth is just letting go of, oh, would that be weird? Are they going to think I'm weird if I reach out? And who cares? Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
fine.
so let's go back to then the collaboration because I think it's great that you reached out and people were willing to help and have sit down with you and over a cup of coffee or over a dinner or whatever and just pour into you. So tell us, what does linking arms with other women look like in practice for you? Now you're in a position to help other women learn and grow and build. So what's that look? What do you think of when you?
Um, I can tell you right off the bat, it's beautiful. When it is happening in the way that you envision, it is a beautiful thing to collaborate and partner with others to get something done. I'm always in my design work, I'm always of the mindset that, the more eyes on something, the better. Let's get more feedback. Let's, uh, what is it? What is it? What is it? Recovering perfectionist over here. So I like the feedback. I love the feedback. But linking ar so there's one element linking arms with others in the community, learning about other business owners, but then there's this other component where bringing that into working with our clients. And we're a women-owned agency. We work primarily with our team is primarily female. We do work with some really talented guys too, but it was really important to me to get more women involved, more female clients, more female, subcontractors, people to work with um, in this very male-dominated field. So talking about the client side of things and linking arms with clients, going back to words being super important, partnering with them, providing them we're not just getting a project done. We're not just getting a project done. We're never just getting a project done.
Mhm.
The linking arms component is the collaboration piece, the listening piece. I find a lot of things these days can feel rushed. Everyone's to-do list is a mile long. And I feel like our clients in that partnership feel heard, they feel cared for, and they feel like they're not alone in this.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm developing a brochure. Yes, I'm developing a website. Yes, I'm developing these elements, but the partnership and the linking arms, it means so much more.
Mhm.
It's that partnership, it's that vulnerability. Like, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I want you to be, you know, brave and honest and raw about it.
Mhm.
Because I've seen the process where if that's not happening, the outcome is different. When that's happening, when that energy is in sync, the final outcome is always so much better.
So has that been surprising to you to see this?
Not at all. Not
Yeah.
at all, honestly. I always knew that that's always been my approach. That's not always been the vibe
Hmm.
in the different places, where I've been employed. But in putting it into practice with the way that we wanted it to look and feel inside of our company, having that control, having that decision-making power, and being able to really implement that. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all that, and especially our female clients and our male clients really appreciate the level of care. I
Hmm.
think that that's what really comes across through, committing to that and partnering with these. They're not just clients, they're our partners in this. So it's been really powerful, but not at all surprising.
So let me ask you this because you and Kara, you took your vision and you worked hard and it's now reality. You're 5 years in, you're successful, you're growing, you're hiring employees, like you're here. Now, that's
Oh,
not
it's
to say
wild.
not all sunshine and rainbows, right?
Not always, no.
And you must have some tools in your toolkit that you have used to continue to build your business. And so, can you share with everyone, like, what are some of the key tools that you used to make your vision into reality?
So I think so the approach is important. The partnering element is important. But it's also just it's in the darker parts where you have to really pull out that toolkit when because you're not always going to please everyone. You're not always going to be someone's cup of tea. Um, so it's in those moments where you continue to believe in the overall mission of everything, um, and just kind of doing your best, like just bringing your best to it, and just kind of knowing that it's not always going to be the perfect client, the perfect fit, the perfect scenario. But if the mission and the vision stays the same, that I'm going to put and pour in, who we are and what we do into this. Um,
So
that's
when you do have a meeting with a client that doesn't go well, what do you do to get over that?
uh
As women, a lot of us, we dwell on those things, right? They live in our head rent free, and we can't let go of the one negative thing that someone said. So how do you talk yourself out of that and move forward?
That is a great question, and I am so grateful for my therapist over the last couple of years.
That's the answer. So
Definitely
you
helping
reach
with
out,
that. Yeah.
yeah, you reach out for help. That's the answer, right? That's the tool in your tool chest.
Well,
It's right. Go into that person who can help
yes.
talk you off the ledge.
I mean, first and foremost, it's not being a solopreneur is one of the biggest benefits of having a business partner is you have someone to bounce this off of. You have somebody to move through those hard days with, and kind of pump each other up, to get back to that baseline. Because it's rough. It's rough out there,
Yeah.
especially two women who want to, provide the best
Hmm.
outcomes possible. When it doesn't go well, it's soul crushing. It can be pretty soul crushing, but at the same time, like it's going to happen. And I think that is understanding that. At the beginning, I'm like, oh, everything must be pristine, every process, every interaction, everything is going to be amazing but it's not, realizing like, okay, that's the aspiration, but it's not real. Like
Not the
that's not
reality.
real at all. But I feel like a lot of people I've talked to, like they're stuck in that too. They're stuck in that, it took me, anything that didn't go well, felt like a dagger, dagger to the heart. It's easy to take it personally, but you have to understand that it's okay. It's
It,
okay if it's,
it
and it's
fits.
not necessarily,
Yeah. Yeah.
not always me. It's about something else, or it's about, it's not about 26 and Co. or the work. It's often about something else. But luckily for us, that is not something that happens very often.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of times it just takes reassurance, redirecting, getting things back on track. But
Well,
yeah,
that leads me to the next part. I want to ask you because there are a lot of things that you can do as you're building a business and lots of opportunities that you see. Oh, we could do this. Oh, we could support that group. We could do this. We could do that. How do you decide between all of these competing priorities for your time?
Mhm. So that the
You don't
work
want the
dictates.
distractions, right? How do you eliminate all those distractions so that you are on the right trajectory? Sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted
Oh
to.
no, it's okay. Um, Yeah, it's the work really dictates what we can take on. Our priority is always the client work, the projects that we've taken on. So we've really had to, and I think more so in the first couple of years when we were really boots on the ground, trying to network, trying to get out there. Um, it was tough to be, you know. shaking hands, kissing babies, and then also, rushing home to edit a photo gallery or, get a website launched till 4 in the morning. It's been a lot of being a lot of roles inside of our business. And just, that really we don't see that as much now, where now we have a really great sense of um where, who we are, where we want to go, who we want to be. And that really can drive, where we spend some time. Now, our time, we understand how valuable our time is, at this point, in owning this business. So for me, it boils down to, values, like what would feel good to do? What would help me grow as a person, as a professional? So it's easy when you know what you want, you know where you want to go to be able to decide, especially when you have such little time. It makes that easy to decide for sure.
I mean, it's a fine line, and I think I have felt this when I was building, years ago, my previous business. I felt I couldn't say no to anyone or anything. I was
Yeah,
so
that's
worried about the next commission check, right? I overcommitted myself.
mhm.
And there's a fine line. And then, I got to the point where, of course, my business was big enough where I didn't have to, I could say no. But there's
Yep.
that really messy part of
Yeah.
growth
Yeah.
where you're like, and I know you're a mom too, and you're like, if there was one bit of advice you could give to someone who is in that messy middle, what would you say to her?
It gets better. It gets better. Um, that messy middle, thank goodness, is in the rear view for me. Um,
Hmm.
but when you're in it, it's it's not. Sometimes it feels like it's not going to end. This is how it's going to be.
Mm,
And that's not the case. To your point, like growing over time, you get the luxury of building systems and being able to say, okay, I'm at a point where I can say, okay, maybe this project isn't for us. And really get to, because yeah, we said yes to literally everything.
hmm.
Spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
We both were so determined that this would be a success that just all the stop signs were gone, and we were in it willing to just, boots on the ground. I will say the messy middle happened during COVID. It happened, my son was in high school doing school from home. Um, our beginning, especially on my side, um, where I can speak to, my experience on my side, it was a lot of uh, others needing things from me, and there was only so much to give. But I will say, my son watching me move through that time period, there was so much guilt. Am I doing enough? Is there enough of me for him? Plus, there's a global pandemic and nothing is real. And like,
Right.
it's kind of a crazy time. But they see what you're doing, especially if you're a parent. Those kids, they see it, they're resilient. It's ultimately it can really the guilt that you're feeling, you don't need to feel it. They're watching you do something amazing and they're admiring you do it.
Right. That's
Um,
great advice.
that's the reward. That's always been the reward for me is showing, my son, showing others that you can do it. You can just do it.
And when bringing up the whole COVID discussion and being an entrepreneur, it can feel isolating at times, right?
Mhm. Yep.
So let me ask you this. How has building a sisterhood around you changed the way you lead and grow your business? How has that impacted you?
It has been essential. It has been absolutely essential to build. I've been really passionate about partnering with other women in our field, giving them opportunities as we've grown, I'm one person, Kara's one person. Um, so we very quickly grew beyond our capacity to do the contracted work. So we knew we needed help. And we linked arms with other women in this profession. Plattsburgh is very male dominated with, creative, web design, these services, marketing. It's a very traditionally and historically, it's been very, very male heavy. So I was very passionate about finding women professionals, and it's been amazing. We do a lot of work with Casadia Carter Martinez. She owns Casadia Wind Media, and she does a lot of our commercial videography. And we also partner with Hey, I'm Kim Cummins. And we work together on web design. And these critical, alongside having a business partner, having these other women who get it, who understand this industry, understand the demands of it, understands being a woman in all of it. It has been critical. It has been the support, in having a tight-knit group of other women who can understand what you're dealing with has been it's critical, absolutely critical. And that's why, like ADKWoman, expanding on that, how can we all support each other? Super drawn to what you and Mindy were doing with this. And just kind of in my own little world, what I've built for myself, it's definitely something I feel, can contribute and help other women who I want to get them to where I am now faster. And
Yeah.
that's the goal. Like, how can we get you there faster? You don't have to wait around.
And I think you're hitting on a really good point. It's when you are collaborating with other women and you're bringing people into your business to help with web design and video production and all of that, it sends a clear message that we're not all competing. There's plenty of business to go around. And the saying of the rising tide raises all ships, right? So I think if we can continue to beat on that message that we're not competing with each other, we are supporting one another. And when we do that, we will all rise because of it. And there's so many powerful women in the Adirondack Park and in the North Country.
Very
And
much so.
we're just, scratching the surface of what we can learn from each other and
Mhm.
how we can grow along together and make our voices more impactful in our
Mhm.
community. Because I believe we are the force of impact
Mhm.
in so many ways. And I know you really love this concept of better together. So tell me about that. How do you embody the idea of better together?
Yeah, I mean, so this really, a lot of what I've been talking about is seeking out specifically women in this industry, knowing that if we come together, it's a better outcome. My belief in, let's proof this as many eyes as possible. Let's get this to, nearly perfect. I definitely feel like through our experiences, and this has been kind of just developing so organically over the last 5 years, just seeing the impact of when these partnerships come together. There's some key clients that we work very, very closely with who, the collaboration effort there is incredible. The results speak for themselves. And it proves the idea that bringing in I very much enjoy my role inside of our business as I tend to meet with our clients first, understand what they need, and then myself as a person kind of subscribing to this better together, that means I have these resources in my areas of interest, which is all things creative, to then assemble and connect the right people so that the result of this project is what we want it to be. So it's knowing that I can't do it all, learning this over time. Like I have to set down some plates. I can't spin all the plates. And I know that bringing in other women it supports them, it supports us, it's mutually beneficial. It's collaborative, it's kind. We've really been able to provide, meaningful impact in the lives of the women that we've partnered with, subcontracted with, brought into our fold of projects. And that's been probably one of the biggest rewards of all of this is just seeing how we can make an impact in other people's lives through, developing this passion of ours, this business, and then bringing others into it and seeing it all just kind of grow. Um, I'm excited to expand on this idea of better together. Um, it's something that's been in my life for quite some time, like even before 26 and Co. And in a previous business venture, implementing those same ideas, coming together. How can we, if we come together, make an impact, grow some things? I've seen it happen, and I'm excited to connect with other women who are on that same wavelength. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what's ahead.
Same. We're really excited here at ADK Woman as we continue to grow and make connections and really pour into our community. So, and we're so grateful that you have decided to become a part of that in the ways that you have.
Sure.
It's really amazing for us to have you and Kara as part of our growing network. But we're going to wrap this up, and we'll close down the podcast part of our lunch and learn. And then we will open it up if there are any questions. But I would like to first, before we wrap it up, I just want to ask you finally, like, for someone who's listening, who they want to start building like you have and start participating and building their own um, collaboration networks with people here locally, what is one first step that they can take today?
Do you mean like someone with a business idea or someone looking for that community side?
However you want to answer it.
Okay. I think so. I immediately go to part of what we do at 26 and Co. is we've built things in such a way where we are able to serve, like the one woman show. My example is always, we've worked with like one woman cleaning team, making things accessible for that size client. We serve the micro client all the way up to the enterprise size client. But one thing that we're really passionate about is helping those women who they might not think it's possible for them, or they might be like, oh, I've always wanted to do this, but I can never do it. I was that person. Like I was that person. I was like, oh, this was a dream. This was not possible, you know? And so moving through my experiences in my life and seeing that it is possible and moving through it, terrified. I've come to, on the other side of that, I've come to realize that anyone, any person with an idea can do it. They need to find the right people to link arms with and move forward with. What we do, and we have some things in the works, moving forward and in partnership with ADKWoman to get that idea, that seed planted because we get them after they've decided they were brave and they're like, I'm going to make a call, I'm going to send an email. We get them then. What I would like to see is more community education, more. We've worked with a lot of clients that are in schools and talking to kids, and we've been able to interview kids. And it's like, you know, girls, women in particular, I feel like need that. They're waiting for permission. I certainly was.
They need,
I was waiting.
they need encouragement, they need mentorship. And when I think about, if I want to do something big, what's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find someone who's done it. And
Yes.
now I'm
Yes.
going to look for that mentorship. And that's one small step someone could do today. If they have an idea, they want to act on it, is find someone who's done it before you.
Mhm.
They're always willing to share with you. So
And if you can't find somebody who's done it, it's okay to figure it out and start figuring it out on your own.
oh, yeah.
Um, that is definitely one thing I'd like to leave everyone thinking about is anything is possible. It's 2025. Like you
Mhm.
have people on YouTube getting famous for like eating and posting their lunch every day. Nothing is out of, the realm of possibility. So, to think at this, time in our life in the world that you can't do something, it's literally open-ended at this moment. It is literally open-ended. And my hope is through, all of these passionate women kind of coming together, is to kind of talk about these things and help everyone, from the people who have the opportunities to get into this sort of thing to the women who don't. Um, so I think, it's finding groups like this. It's keeping yourself open. It's doing the work even when you don't want to. And figuring it all out because you can. You just literally can. Like you can.
And you are enough to do it now and do it scared.
Mhm. Yeah.
Let's end on that because that is such a positive message. So, thank you so much, Jen, for being with us today. We're really excited about the podcast that we have coming and getting to have these great conversations with the women right here in our area that are doing big things. And so, we thank you so much for joining us today.